Okay, so first things first, we're gonna start with the jab and spear skills like I was talking about. So jab, I'm pretty sure jab is unchanged. We're going to, holy crap, dude, this is what happens when you put like all of your points in. Yikers. Oh, apparently there's a new move only. I'm probably gonna have to figure out the parameters of this. So jab, I think, will be like a stabby stab thing, right? Yeah, okay. Jab is like that, it's like an Amazon Zeal. And then we have here, we have Power Strike, and Power Strike, I know, has a Nova AoE. Yeah, so that's pretty sick. There is now this Javelin and Spear Mastery that increases damage and attack speed with Javelin and Spear class. Increases attack speed by 1 per base level, currently 1%. Interesting. Interesting. That's kind of cool. We also have Fend. Attack all adjacent targets. Now, I haven't actually used Fend in a long, long time. Interesting. So it seems like a splash damage. Like melee splash, but with like extra damage. That's kind of what it seems like. Again, I haven't played with Fend in a long time. I'm not sure if this changed or unchanged. I just know that wasn't the thing to go for in vanilla. Does my weapon splash already? Yes, but this actually has like increased attack rating bonus and damage bonus. So it might be good for like spears. If you're going a physical melee, you'll probably want to go spears, and Fend will probably be something with that. Now we'll look at Poison Javelin. So we're kind of just working our way down here. Poison Javelin, I believe, will be exactly the same as it was before, except available now at level 1 versus where it was available at level 6. It does look like it has... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say it looks like it pierces, but maybe it's just... Maybe it has a chance to pierce on base, or maybe I have a chance to pierce. It's probably the more likely scenario. Projectile pierce. Yeah. Okay, I already have pierce, so... That's why. Let's take a look at Lightning Bolt now. Lightning Bolt, I did actually try this in endgame, and it seemed like pretty strong. Like, as far as its upper end DPS, the numbers were huge in comparison to like something like Latent Fury. Obviously, it doesn't break off, like when we have multiple targets. It kind of just goes through them, especially with the Pierce. Pierce is like super important as a Javazon, as I'm sure most of you already know. But like, yeah, it's just kind of like shoots through them. Really cool skill, honestly. I feel like Zeus. Charge Strike, I believe, is the exact same. There might have been like, I mean, there's definitely a nerf to it. I'm not sure how all of it got nerfed, but definitely a nerf to it. But yeah, I believe probably just base values and synergies and stuff. I definitely see the synergies a little bit different from what it looks like. Nothing really different with Charge Strike, kind of like an up-close, really good boss killer. Or like stabbing and like kiting back, stabbing, kiting back while the charged bolts go forward. You know, to like kill the monsters or whatever. Then we'll talk about Plague Javelin. I'm not looking for damage output, I'm looking for display of skill at the moment to see what it looks like. Because I'm assuming by release everything is going to be working as intended, you know what I mean? Whether it is or not. So yeah, it's Plague Javelin. It does seem to have a way shorter cooldown from the looks of it. But yeah, Plague Javelin kind of works like Poison Javelin, except with bigger AoE. And it's over a longer period of time that you deal the damage, but over a greater area as well. So Lightning Strike. Dude, I haven't used so many skills in so long. So Lightning Strike, it's like, wow, that bounces a lot of times. Bounces a lot of times. It's like Chain Lightning, but like, you know, nothing's really changed here. I did notice in endgame when I tried it out that it did a lot more damage than before, so that's kind of cool. Interesting. Okay, then we have Lightning Fury, everybody's favorite, dude. Lightning Fury. It's just super OP. It's amazing. Once you get 100% pierce, it's just lightning fury, dude. Holy crap. I lost. Yeah, dude, I lost in that moment, dude. Me too. So, as far as, like, Javelin spear skills go, I'm assuming, you know, as we can see here, it goes down to the right here. If you want to go, like, lightning fury build, you have your synergies, and then you have, you know, this also over here, which may be more towards the single target area, but, like, it doesn't look like they all synergize. Like all lightning skills do not end up synergizing, it looks like. Yeah, and then if you're going to go physicals on, it doesn't look like there's one what do you call it? Synergy for fend, and that would be jab. Then you also have like damage and attack speed with the javelin mastery. And if you're gonna go poison, kind of spam the poison javelin versus the, wow, that's like super spam. You can spam that versus like the plague javelin that has a cooldown a little bit to it. So you can swap between those. Big AoE versus like a little bit smaller AoE. Okay, so now we're gonna go over passive and magic skills. So he actually moved, as you can see. There's no level 30 required on the right column now. We have critical strike in the same spot, which is like the, you know, the double damage thing. And then we have pierce, which is, you know, pierce. When, it's basically the same thing. When my javelin goes through an enemy or a monster, like it just did, that's what pierce is, if you're not familiar with pierce. With penetrate, we not only increase our attacker rating, but we also lower the defense of the target. Inner sight illuminates nearby enemies, making them easier to hit for you and your party. Minus enemy attack rating, minus enemy defense. So it's a nice, like, AoE. Like, look at that, 9.3 yards, and it increases as you put points into it. Looks like by 0.6 yards. So, AoE buff for you and your team, especially if you're dealing with attack rating builds that need attack rating and have a chance to miss and stuff like that. So, slow movement. This has been reworked. Yeah, so it illuminates nearby enemies and slows their range attack and movement. So not only like it slows the ranged attacks, I believe that used to happen. Now it also slows the enemy movement. So inner sight, you can see a little sparkles, man. Sparkly inner sight, dude. And that'll again lower their defense and lower their attack rating. So that's kind of cool, and it scales with points. Now we have slow movement, and currently with 5 points in, it lasts for 5 seconds. Range attack slow to 71%. I'm guessing that means like 71% of the previous 100% speed going through the air. Slows movement by enemies. Oh, this guy will be a good example. Let's see. So yeah, they are moving a little bit slower. They're super fast already, but they are moving a little bit slower. That guy's definitely moving slower. Yeah, those guys are definitely slower. Archers, let's see. Then we also have decoy. Creates a duplicate of yourself that draws fire from enemies. Basically, it's just a scarecrow that you put there. They want the enemies to smash and bash. Nothing really different here. So it looks like you put things down here. And there you go. They attack it. You know, good old decoy. Nothing really changed there. Valkyrie, I believe. Valkyrie prepared. Valkyrie has like a bunch of different things now. So, first of all, you summon a Valkyrie, right, with the right click. And then you can summon an additional Valkyrie at level 20 and at level 30. Or you could have 2 Valkyries. So it could be like a summons on. And then you could actually even have 3 if you have enough plus the summons or plus the passive skills. And then there's these synergies, so you could go full summons on. You know, decoy and pierce. So decoy gives it physical damage. Pierce gives it lightning pierce. Penetrate gives it attack rating. Power strike adds lightning damage. That's pretty cool. Unsummon. Ah. Oh, dude, we got it. We got it. Wow, dude, I want those gloves. Chat, who wants those gloves? Look at that, you even got power strike charges. No rings, debated. 35 life. Druid skills, debated. Debated. Traps, yikes. Got knockback. Oh, sometimes they don't even get items. Well, that's gonna be super freaking helpful. So all I had to do was click unsummon and then make sure I had the hotkey, which is on the BH settings, to show players' gear, and then I hover them and press 0. Thank you, Mr. Custody. Alright, so we have evade gives you also movement speed, it looks like, on every point. Yeah, so movement speed. And then we also have dodge, which is, you know, dodging range attacks or melee attacks when you're standing still or attacking. Okay. And then it also gives you hit recovery, which is sick. Now let's take a look at the each of these skills. So I first of all, other than, you know, maybe the close button, obviously it has to be moved over again, but this is just beta. This tree looks absolutely sick. I absolutely love the look of this tree because you start off with this one skill at level 6, and then at level 12 you get to branch off. You branch off into cold, or physical, or fire. So we have a bow now. They also have infinite quantity, as you can see, which is a really nice change, huge quality of life. So we have magic arrow, and this is the one we all start with if you're playing bow. So it does half a weapon damage and converts 50% of the physical to magic damage. It also gives attack rating, a base damage of magic, which is also kind of nice. Base damage is always really, really helpful, especially in the early game when you have like some garbage weapons. But that's kind of cool. I don't have any like insane gear on right now. I just have like, you know, hunter's bow and armor. Just the plus skills are carrying. So then we also have like synergies here. We have inner sight, so that's from the passive tree. We have slow movement and guided arrow. We have cold arrow, and cold arrow is 1/4 weapon damage. Converts 50% physical to elemental. And I think, yeah, so I think it's every 3 or 4, maybe it was 4, I don't know, I didn't count exactly, but with cold arrow you get like additional arrows every time you level it up. So it kind of turns into like a multi-shot type of thing, but with cold damage. I really like that idea, that's kind of cool. Then we have multi-shot, which everybody is probably familiar with. Good old multi-shot, man. And this is physicals on. You know, you can base this also off of ED and stuff like that, rather than just plus skills. I guess it converts 50% physical to also elemental damage, so you might actually be able to convert with ED as well. I want to talk about the synergies. So, magic arrow and ice arrow. So ice arrow magically enhances arrow bolt to freeze enemies. Let's take a look real quick. Ice arrow doesn't... Oh, it does freeze. Why wasn't it freezing those guys? Chat, it wasn't freezing before. Yeah, so it freezes target. It does freeze the target straight up. All of these benefit from magic arrow. So you're actually able to, you know, start off. There's just like not as much respecking involved, so you're always going to be putting points into magic arrow, and that's kind of the theme of like all the skill trees I believe that Senpai wants to do. So you start off with the low level item, but that low level skill, and that low level skill is eventually going to be a synergy for the build that you actually want to play. Freezing Arrow, level 30 skill. It gives you cold damage and freezes target for 1 second. Does that increase at all? Doesn't look like it. Radius 4 yards. Oh, it's like an AoE freeze. Gotcha. Dude, it's been so long since I've played any of these things specifically. Yeah, so it's an AoE. Holy crap, that's actually amazing. Now I understand why people would use this. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Ice Freezing Arrow is freaking amazing. Alright, so multi-shot. You know, it's just like the old multi-shot. You put more points in. And you get more arrows. Also, I don't exactly know how the entire scaling works, but not only you get more arrows, it's also based on 100% weapon damage, so there's no debuff on that. So multi-shot gets a buff, and it gets flat damage. Not a whole lot, it looks like, but it also gets flat damage, which really helps you in the early game because it is a struggle in the early game. So you get AR, you get more arrows, and you get flat damage. Guided arrow here, and I'm sure a lot of people will want to see the guided arrow. I will say I'm not an expert on all these different builds and all these different skills, so bear with me, chat. But as you can see, works just like before. Isn't it like 100% pierce like the old style? It's not 100% pierce, it's just able to pierce now? Oh, okay. So it's just able to pierce now. And it shoots around corners like crazy. It's like some Matrix level crap. Yeah, look at that. Freaking 90 degrees turn. That's badass, dude. They track targets. It converts physical to magic. It'll get wrecked, dude, with by thorns. Or attacker takes damage. And then it also increases damage a little bit. Nice. So it's not like a huge damage skill. It's like kind of utility a bit. Attacks up to 5 targets. It gives plus damage. And it gives attack rating. So when we have multiple targets, the Zon automatically aims towards the multiple targets. So yeah, Strafe's kind of the same. It's really good for proccing things, at least in vanilla. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Look at that, shotgunning everything, or you know, machine gunning everything down. Strafe's pretty fun. The Strafe has no next hit delay on PD2. What? Dude, that is huge buff for single target. That is awesome. Honestly, I don't think this was in vanilla, right? Like the whole converting fizz to elemental. You believe it was? It was in this? It was in vanilla? Okay. It definitely didn't feel like it in vanilla. I guess maybe it was kind of hard to get both things. I just know that like elemental Zon was decent with plus skills, and then like physical Zon in vanilla was really rough. So next hit delay, for those people that don't know what next hit delay is, or a good way to put it, like Knight said, next hit delay is the number of frames before the next hit is allowed to deal damage. Yeah, this is a very good simplified way to say that. Fire Arrow, it converts physical damage to elemental damage. It also increases arrows, so it's kind of like Cold Arrow, except, you know, fire damage instead. Also gives flat fire damage, attack rating, and also synergizes with Magic Arrow, like everything else here, and Immolation Arrow. Wow, that shoots fast. That is sick! And I think it's like, what, every 4? Looks like every 4 points, you get an additional arrow. That is super cool. Again, I'm doing no damage due to the fact I have, you know, garbage gear. I'm just showing off the skills. Flat damage. We have attack rating. And that's what we get there. We also have the synergies with Magic Arrow and an Immolation Arrow. And then we got the big... Dude, that AoE looks way bigger. Unless I'm crazy, that AoE looks bigger. It is bigger? Okay. Cool. Yeah, that is beautiful, dude. For sure. That is sick. I love the pierce, too. Oh my god, dude. This is a sick-looking skill. with the piercing. Look at that! That is sick! That is so cool. Then we have Immolation Arrow, which is the thing that Bloodraven currently does in normal and just absolutely shreds everybody who is like level 6 trying to go get their quest done. It currently gives attack rating, a fire explosion, and a fire duration. So let's take a look at what that actually looks like. So every target it hits, it has like a little fire pool. And I gotta stop doing that. So every target it hits has like that fire pool, and it has a wave of fire behind it, and that burns for a little while. Duration of 4 seconds. And you can put more points in for, you know, more damage. And those synergy points are currently Magic Arrow giving average fire damage per second. And then we have Exploding Arrow with, you know, fire damage per level, as well as Fire Arrow. So that's pretty cool. You could use Immolation Arrow. Okay, so Exploding Arrow and Immolation Arrow do not share cooldowns. So you could do something like Immolation Arrow and then be shooting Exploding Arrow while that's on cooldown. Or even blasting. Ultimately, I really like Fire Arrow. Just the way it looks is like super cool. So you could just like Immolation Arrow. I mean, that's kind of cool, man. You gotta admit, that is pretty cool. Let's go back to normal because I'm definitely gonna die in hell. So yeah, that's pretty much the Zon skills. We covered pretty much everything. Again, we're gonna be uploading a video for each one of these classes